Welcome to the second season of Mars. I am Samuel TV. I play Robert Foucault, and this is the beautiful
Clémentine Fodat, and I play Dr. Amélie Durand. And we are in our beautiful studio in Hungary at Korda Studio, which is like one of the biggest studios in Europe, I think.
Yes, it is. And also, Korda is named after one of the Hungarian directors from back in the 1920s, I believe.
And take a look at our big and beautiful
new stage.
Yeah, that's amazing.
This season is even bigger than the last season. Last season was kind of compacted. Now we have a big stage, more space, and we're going to show you some stuff.
Yeah, from Olympus Town, which is now our home on Mars.
And as you can see, we have a Martianaut.
A Martianaut? An astronaut? A Martianaut?
He's a Martian, he's working. And, oh, this looks like a basalt rock.
Yeah, Martian rock.
Yeah, Martian rock. And also we got some new friends here on Mars this season. And
are we really friends? I mean, I've never been invited. I don't really know them.
Well, I would say this is the perfect time to meet the crew from Lucrum Colony. Let's go.
Welcome. From Olympus Town, you are now entering the Lucrum Colony. What's that? Nothing. You're going to leave me hanging, aren't you?
It's our colony, absolutely. Hi guys, my name is Roxy Sternberg and I'm playing Jen Carson in season 2 of Mars.
My name is Jeff Hepner and I'm playing Commander Kurt Harrell in season 2 of Mars. And we represent, like we said, the Lucrum Colony. And projecting forward what's going to happen on Mars when we get there, at some point we're going to have to turn a profit. We're going to have to mine it for its resources. And we represent that, that part of the story.
Yep, we're the new guys. And this is our Airbus. So this is where we basically dictate to the miners out there what we'd like them to do. This is where you and Shep spend most of your time.
This is where I command.
This is where you command. I love you saying that.
I do.
And that is green screen out there. That is where the wonderful Mars will be, Mars surface.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Lovely, darling. Look at all those green dots.
Isn't that lovely?
Lovely English accent. Moving on, shall we?
Yes. Oh, to a room in which we've never shot.
No, we've never shot in here, but I'm excited to see what it's going to be.
What do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be... What do I think it's going to be, or what do I want it to be?
What do you want it to be?
I want it to be the party room.
I know, so do I. The airlock.
The airlock room.
The loudest room on set.
The loudest room on set. Have you heard it?
Yeah, I was out there.
Super loud. So between leaving Mars surface and entering the Airbus, these little silver things will blow out carbon dioxide, and that will basically clean us so that we don't contaminate the Airbus.
And when we really actually are on Mars, probably not you and me, but real miners, this will have a practical function. You know, when you're out there stirring up different compounds and dirts and things that we have no idea really what's in them yet until we get there, they're going to have to wash it off you, spray it off so you don't bring it into the colony, because it could infect, it could make people sick, it could screw up the computers.
Absolutely.
A bunch of other stuff I don't know anything about.
Yeah, but it's a great room.
It's just, yeah.
And so, doors open.
That doesn't ever
Please. Pretty please. With the cherry on top.
Oh, look at that. You headed it pretty please.
Oh gosh, so there's no gravity in this bit. So this is where we... No? Just me?
Just you. The control room, yes? This is where we control things and command them, because that's what I do. I'm a commander. Yes?
Are you coming in with that stuff again?
You think it's funny, don't you?
No.
Oh, it's not. No, seriously though, as a practical function, this, as a set for actors, is kind of stunning.
A dream.
It's the whole set. We're often working in half rooms where the walls ripped off and cameras poked through. And when you're trying to find an emotional mindset working on Mars, it really helps to have a set like this that's complete with heft.
Yeah.
Feels like we have something to work with.
Absolutely.
Got to pretend
Such
like we're on Mars.
Detail.
It really is.
Yeah.
Oh, and then here's the canteen, yes? A couple people sleeping, as you would.
This is our canteen. Like chill out R&R area.
This is the one place Olympus has us beat because they have an actual bar.
Yeah, but we've got proper chairs.
That's right, you'll see.
With a back.
Their bar is like garbage cans tipped over.
Where we eat Mars food, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's delicious.
Can you speak Mars yet, by the way?
I can, but I don't want to show off.
Ooh. No, but really, from an actor's point of view, coming to a set like this where there are 4 walls and you can actually feel like you're in a control room, it's really special.
Well, and Stephen Petranek, the man who literally wrote the book on how we'd live on Mars, stepped in here and was just like, this is how it's going to look. This is what it'll be. And that also informs, you know, how you're going to do your job. You're going to be like, well, it gives it a sense of realism. And more realism. We're in the medical bay.
Yeah.
And again, as a practical function, when people are mining and doing heavy industrial work on Mars, it's dangerous, just like it would be here, and even more so because there's so many unknowns. So there'll be a medical bay. It'll be equipped with doctors and obviously, and the advanced equipment you would need to take care of somebody when there's no real hospital nearby. And they did a hell of a job. I mean, look at this.
It's amazing, and they're comfortable too. Memory foam. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed our tour of the Lucrum colony, and you can now go back to Olympus Town. Not quite as fun, but it'll be fun. And feel free to enjoy a virtual tour, but we're not going to be here anymore.
No, I'm done.
But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed our tour here at Corda Studios in Budapest, Hungary.
Hungry. I'm hungry.
You're hungry? Okay, let's go have lunch. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Such an easy joke. I think I've done it like twice a day.
It's not funny. It's oh
Again,
God.
With the doors.
Doors open, please. Pretty please, with a cherry on top. I got the to lunch. Aye!
And now we're in the control room in Olympus and with special guests.
Yes, we have one of the creative genius behind this wonderful set, Mr. Adrian Smith. How are you, sir?
Nice to see you.
Pleasure to have you with us.
Yes.
You want to introduce us to your cohorts here, your friends here?
Yes. Yes, on my right here I have Thomas Lothian, who is one of our art directors in charge of the Lucrum set and all things scientific.
Yes.
Great, been a great resource in the design of the whole sets here. And on my left is James Morrell, who is in charge of all the special props and has been doing some sterling work, some fantastic work.
That's great. Now, if you guys have any questions that you want to find out about the this Olympus Town Command Center or any of the other places you've seen, you should please write in, and we'll be able to answer your questions to the best of our abilities.
I have a question for you.
Me specifically.
How is it possible that you guys decided to create a Lucrum colony cooler than our colony? Well, we've been here on this planet for 9 years.
Oh my God! I don't want to be in your shoes, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, come on. I mean, you guys work for government agencies, so you know there's a bit of kind of taxpayer money involved. You can't be looking to be too comfortable here. Right. But you know the money's gone in where it counts. You know the money's gone into things like the lab.
And Lucrum is a private owned company.
Exactly.
You know. So this is the control center. As you guys can see, we've got little screens that they've added this season. It's a lot bigger than last season, by the way. It's more, it's more beautiful, and you guys have done a great job. I would love for you guys. I also want to share with our fans out there, if you could tell us some of this stuff on the screen, if you want to, elaborate.
Sure. Well, basically, we've designed this is the control center for all the operations in Olympus Town.
This is where Commander Hannah Song, this is her desk.
This is her desk.
And that's mine, by the way. And
I don't have a desk here because I'm only a doctor.
Well, no, you're not only a doctor, you have your own medical bay, which we're going to go to later. But
yes, and around you, you see the various functions of the control center. We've got our nuclear power plant monitoring system over there, the water generation system over there, communication system there, and also the sort of fuel processing system in the background there. And this is all kind of coordinated and controlled by the character, Hannah's character, who sits here.
So we've got a question from our audience. What kind of experts did you consult to come up with all this futuristic equipment?
Well,
very good question.
The first thing is you basically we lead that search. So we look into a lot of papers from NASA, a lot of papers from all sorts of sources as well. And then one of the main things we then do is we run it past our specific tech experts, who Stephen, who, as I say, wrote the book, and then also Bobby Brown, who's one of our specific experts as well.
And I really like this question. It says, did you take any influence from pop culture sci-fi for your set designs?
No, not specific.
Okay.
Because this is a very unusual project in terms of design, because we are actually designing for real science, or projected real science. So rather than usually where it's just your imagination is just unlimited, here we're actually turning projected real science, but trying to make it look interesting and exciting visually.
All right, we'll take one more question, and I would like to ask you this. What is it like acting on a set that completely surrounds you?
Well, you feel like you dive in. I mean, it's so much easier for us to have like specific things on the screens, and like everything is so detailed, and it's true, we are surrounded, and we are, it's very round. There's something very homey. I feel that it is. It's quite, it's not like my house, but I feel comfortable, and everything is so detailed. Everything is so precise. The corridors are like endless, so it's easy to get lost. I mean, but thank you for that, guys, because it's very helping us, because in between action and cut, I really do believe that I'm an astronaut on Mars, and that, so it's great. Thank you for that.
On that note, why don't we, since you guys have asked questions, you've seen some of these places, why don't we take you to show you the video of the design process of what these guys came up with. And let's check it out.
These are some of the common spaces that we've designed for Olympus Town. This is the bar stroke garden area that's designed as a recreation area for the people that are living in Olympus Town. Interestingly, the bar and all its contents are from elements that have been recycled. Things like the bar itself is actually an element of fairing from the original ship that came and delivered the stuff to Mars. Plants planted with a very minimal watering system, because obviously water is very precious on Mars. And the pathways you see there are all created from regolith, which is a kind of reconstituted Martian terrain. So that the idea is that everything has been recycled and reused, and the whole thing is covered over with a very large dome that will actually give you the sort of sense of being enclosed. Now the corridors, these are used or reused. We've recycled them ourselves from the first series. They've been updated, they've had new lighting system, new graphics, and additional pipe work. It's very much been, we've tried to actually give the sense that there has been life here in this corridor system for the last sort of 9 years. So there's a lot of detail there of aging and giving it a sense that it has actually been lived in rather than a brand new environment.
Welcome to Marta's lab. This is one of the other spaces here on Mars on our set. This is actually one of the biggest labs. This is one of the biggest spaces actually on this set, I think.
And you built it.
And I built it. I did.
I mean, his character built it, not him.
Well, thank you.
Not him.
Thank you.
And I'm looking at Marta's samples from Mars. I mean, I shouldn't do it too much because she's going to be super upset.
Now, like, this are some of the findings of some of the stuff that she found while on the Mars surface, trying to find possibility of life on Mars. And, you know, as you can see in this petri dish, I don't know what that is.
That looks like blue cheese from France.
Blue cheese from France?
But I wouldn't eat that.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think so. I mean, this is some like scary looking thing. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to put it down because Marta is very particular about her stuff. Also, this is called a DNA sequencer.
Wow.
Wow.
You got it.
And I think James can tell us
what it's for.
What it actually does. I'm going to actually take you guys over here and show you this DNA sequencer. And can you help us out? Kind of help the fans and tell us what this is, what it does?
But obviously, at the end of the first season, they had discovered microbial life on Mars, and one of the major things that you need to do in that situation is begin to understand exactly how that creature sort of came to be on that planet and what it's made of, and finding its genome and beginning to find whether or not it has any similarities with life on Earth would be incredibly important.
Yeah, and I have another question for you, because over there I see a weird blue silver machine.
That's our recreation of
upstairs.
An electron microscope, which is one of the most sensitive devices we have to look at the atomic structure of something, to actually get down and look at, you know, how its molecules made, and to find out, you know, exactly how these creatures are constructed, what they're made of, at a complete, you know, subatomic level.
It's really beautiful.
Thanks.
Hey, my Juliet.
Oh, my Romeo.
It's reverse of Mars. Now, this is just to show you how big this place is. I mean, this is the second level of this lab, and it's built by our Tom, one of our creative geniuses who designed this lab and also built the Lucrum colony. Could you tell us a little bit about this stage, this lab?
Well, the main thing actually that you've sort of stumbled on by walking up there, when you've got a dome like that, a dome is a very, very strong structure. The idea is that it's made of big segments of regolith crete on the outside. So it's actually 3D printed using regolith from the surface. But you have this big geodesic dome, and the problem with a geodesic dome is you've got this huge amount of space at the top, which is completely wasted. And when you're on Mars and air is precious, you don't want to be filling a huge dome with air and not using it. So the second story actually gives you, kind of makes it a bit more efficient in that you're using all the pressurized space in that dome, rather than just everyone being down on the ground level and needing twice as many domes.
Now we have a question from one of our audience members. What kind of science is supposed to be happening in this lab?
I'll field that one. Basically, they're sequencing the genome of the bacteria that they found at the beginning of the first season. They're finding out exactly what it's made from. Is it a carbon-based life form like us? Is it based on silicon? Can it interact with our biochemistry? Does it pose a threat? Is it toxic? Can they even make it breed? When they find it, it's been in hibernation for who knows how long, and they're attempting to discover exactly what circumstances led to it being below the surface of Mars.
And we've got another question here. What are some of the actors' favorite props? You can answer that.
Well, my favorite props would be in my favorite bar, which we're going to get to later on.
My favorite prop is probably the EVA suit. I love the helmet.
Oh, yeah.
I really love it.
The EVA suit this season is amazing. It's totally different from last season. And the helmet, by the way, which is all designed by a wonderful Caroline Harris, excuse me. On that note,
I think that we should probably have a look at the personal spaces now.
Yes.
These are some of the personal spaces in Olympus town. This is Javier's workshop next to the hydro room. And as you can see, there's a lot of dressing, very kind of complicated equipment that Javier as an engineer has. And we've researched that quite thoroughly. A lot of very specialist tools that have been we've created to actually kind of use on Mars. And just through the door there, you can see the equipment that we've designed that is based on a recreation of a water plant that would actually be used in space on Mars. It's very interesting kind of use of the dome, or the two domes actually merged together. With this is Javier and Emilia's habitation, joint habitation. Again, what we've done is join two of the smaller domes together. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of built-in furniture that's been designed to actually fill and fit into the dome shape. And there are a certain element of personal things for the various kind of characters. We are very limited to how much we can actually, how much you can actually take to Mars. So each of these items is very precious, and they are very kind of carefully chosen as part of the decoration of the sets.
And welcome to my kingdom, my medical lab. Yeah, I'm a doctor and a therapist here. So we've got some...
Hey, doctor.
Oh, what are you doing
I think
here?
I have a stomach pain.
Okay,
Is the thermostabilized tapioca pie? I think he's doing me wrong, doctor.
Okay,
I need to get checked.
Get checked.
Oh.
He finds any excuse to come.
God. Oh, I need help.
Okay, so...
Please help me out.
We have a super futuristic scanner. I can see pretty much whatever Sammy has been doing for the last 48 hours, sorry.
So
can you help us guys, like talking about this multifunctional scanner?
Yeah, absolutely. We started by looking at what current medical technology is doing, and that engineers and doctors are trying to incorporate all the different diagnostic equipment that we currently have into one machine. So we started off looking at ways that you could have a CT scanner, an X-ray machine, a CAT scan, an ultrasound, and general diagnostic sort of machine in a reasonably compact sort of piece of equipment that you could conceivably ship to Mars. Because at the moment they're the size of an entire room. Just for one of these machines, but in 20 or 30 years' time, you better put it in a shipping crate and send it halfway across the solar system.
Now, what I want to know is, what does this machine do? What is this? What is it used for? This, I believe, is grafting. Could you explain to the audience what it does?
Yeah, you've got that. There is a medical 3D printer, which can either print things like casts and splints for broken bones, or be reconfigured to print, a biological scaffold for growing skin grafts, or even some soft tissues.
Yeah.
For any kind of injury, burns, whatever you could possibly face.
If you lose an ear, they could print it out here.
Absolutely, yeah.
They could print in 3D an ear or like some tissue.
Well, what you do is the idea is that you'd print a scaffold, which you then seed with stem cells from the patient's own body, and then you would culture new tissue, new skin on it, and then you could actually transplant it onto that patient.
Now we've got a question from our audience. What elements of a real lab are represented here? Quarantine, decontamination, other pretend safety features. Well, we have a quarantine room over there, and And also like all the medical stuff that we actually need. And I think it looks quite good, and the lab works pretty well. I'm saving lives.
She is saving lives. She's saving our lives. On that note, why don't we go to the, why don't we show you guys the design process for this?
Okay, the design process generally starts with the script, reading the script, and meeting with the director and producer. And from that, as a production designer, you start to produce very loose mood boards and conceptual designs. And part of the process then is actually refining these. They then get passed on down into the art department to the various kind of art directors who then start to refine your designs. Part of the process then is to start creating some of the specific props. On a show like this, a lot of the items in it are based on real science and have to be accurate in terms of not only the science but the way they look. And in this you can see James is trying on a 3D printed arm cast that's been created in the art department by the 3D printers. You can see them there. We've got 3 of them there that have just been working 24/7 right the way through the production, producing some amazing 3D parts. And we're in the workshop here, the prop workshop, and you can see there one of the specialized props that we've created. It's a very interesting and future-bound prop that works well within the whole story.
Oh, you guys still here? Well, welcome. This is actually my favorite place because I designed it.
He built it.
And with my my colleague, Javier Delgado, and I would say we did an amazing job. This is the bar.
Yeah, and that Lucrum Colony, they don't have that. They don't have a bar.
No, they don't have a bar. On that note, we're going to take some questions. I think, which is a very good question. It says, do they manufacture all the equipment on Mars or do they get it from Earth? I think it would be expensive to bring the equipment from items from Earth, so we have to manufacture all this stuff that you see around here. And also, to give you a good example of that is, if you look at some of this, come with me. If you look at some of these trays, they actually recycle trays used as a tabletop. Also, this is like dustbins, and we just got creative, and everything that you see here is recycled and stuff that we found from here. So we're actually totally green up here. So,
and what about what we drink?
Well, the drinks are also like made from, like, for example, one of my favorite drinks is the potato vodka, which I made. And basically everything at the bar.
You do?
I did it. I mean, you know. And also we have a little distillery back there, and we also make our own beer.
Yeah, Mars beers.
Mars beers. So.
By the way, I have a question for Adrian and the boys. Do you think that it would be possible to make wine here, to have a vineyard here on Mars?
Well, we're going to look at the local vineyards next week to see if we can find a suitable grape.
See if we can have wine on Mars. Let's take a couple of questions. Someone says, how often do your characters come to the bar? Well, as often as possible.
I don't. I'm very serious.
Yeah.
I don't drink.
Well, yeah, right. You know, we gotta take time off from doing research and doing the work. And I think what a perfect place to come and relax. As you can see, it's big, and we've got a dome. And also, Adrian, I believe there's a way that we can turn it into daylight and also bring the nighttime to it as well.
Yes. The Olympus town is actually at the bottom of a lava tube underground, and the idea is that the dome has an integrated lighting system which gives an artificial daylight and then can be turned off for evening and night.
All right, that's
And I think we should plan some karaoke nights.
I think that would be really nice.
That would be
really
great.
nice.
That would be great.
And someone asked, are the plants on Mars real?
Yeah?
Yeah, well, basically that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to terraform this planet to make it habitable. We want to be able to plant vegetables and grow our own vegetables and plants and to be able to make our own food and use recycled items. And that's basically what we're doing, building this colony.
We've got another question.
Yeah.
What's the most, and I think it's for you, Adrian, and the boys, what's the most fanciful or sci-fi part of your designs?
Probably the bit you're in.
Yeah,
Yes, it is fanciful.
yeah, the giant dome. Yeah.
Well, I really love my hub with Javier. I mean, we've got a great hub with a king-size bed.
Oh, well, I haven't seen it, so I can't say. I wasn't invited.
Oh, no, you're not.
Oh, God.
No, you are. Always, always.
And let's see, one more question. We've answered that. Let's see, the pen. Yes, we just answered that. Let's see, what else? You know what?
Does your character have a favorite drink? Yeah, you just said that.
My
Potato
favorite drink is the potato vodka, you know, and I make everything back there. So if you ever venture to Mars, please come to my bar.
You're very
I have all
welcome.
kinds of drinks, all kinds of concoction out here, you know. I'm basically the brain of the Olympus town, to be
What?
honest with you.
You what? Come on. He's not. He's not. All together, we are trying to be one brain, and
Yes,
that's
we are.
enough.
That
you
is
know?
true. On that note, we want to thank you guys for joining us on this wonderful tour. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. And
And
season
we'll see you in 2018.
2018, spring of 2018, season 2 of Mars is going to be even greater than the first season because there's so much more to see. There's so much more to experience, and it's cinematic. It's amazing. We have a great new cast that just joined the show, and it's a thrilling ride. And we want to invite you to join us. So thank you very much for
Thank
being a part
you.
of this, and we hope to see you in 2018 in the
Yeah.
spring.
Cheers! Bye-bye!
Cheers.